Today's word is indomitable. What the heck is indomitable? When you say indomitable, it means that someone is unbeatable. You cannot outdo or outperform other because, let's say for example, they are better than you. And I know for a fact that, of course, if someone is indomitable, you have no choice but to practice more, to do your job, to do your best in order for you to at least try to, not to be left behind. Because if you left behind, then you would be mediocre and like amateurish. And so for you to at least get even, you have to really do your best until you surpass the ability of others. Or let's say for example, in order for you to outsmart others. So the example of that is, if you're going to compare between Isaac Newton and Robert Hooke, I would say that I would choose Isaac Newton because Isaac Newton is so smart and he was undefeated over Robert Hooke. So there was a competition between Robert Hooke and Isaac Newton. They were two big spears, and I know that, of course, if they are both smart, sometimes you cannot identify or determine who will win when it comes to the world of science. But I would say that Newton won the game between Isaac Newton and Robert Hooke. So the reason why Isaac Newton won the battle when it comes to science, when it comes to popularity and fame, when it comes to being cerebral and being genius, I would say that Isaac Newton stood out because he was never a second best. He wanted to be the best, and so he did his best in order for him to emerge and to become flamboyant or outstanding against Robert Hooke. So the reason why Isaac Newton became rebellious was because Robert Hooke was talking trash about Isaac Newton. And when that discovered by Isaac Newton tried to burn all his documents, his papers, his datum, and everything that are possessed by Robert Hooke. And that's also the reason why it's difficult for, let's say, artists draw the real image of Robert Hooke, because a long time ago Isaac Newton burned all his stuff, and the picture that we are seeing online, those pictures are not the real face of Robert Hooke. That was like assumption maybe, or let's say it's like reckon. It's like they were just guessing the face of Robert Hooke according to the text. So yeah, I think artist was able to paint the face of Robert Hooke not according to the copy of the picture, but basically what the text was telling about the image or the facial feature of Robert Hooke. So I would say that Isaac Newton was indomitable because Isaac Newton was brilliant. He discovered Philosopher's Stone. What the heck is Philosopher's Stone? So Philosopher's Stone is actually a result of a metal. It's like turning metal into gold. And I know that it sounds impossible for someone to turn like metal into gold. I think there's a lot of processes, but of course when it comes to Isaac Isaac Newton, it was like easy for him to create that Philosopher's Stone. So the benefit of Philosopher's Stone was it can cure illness, but unfortunately if the king and queen discovered that um the the scientist or the alchemist is flawed, then he will hang in a gilded scaffold for people to see. It's like a public spectacle. That's really the way, you know, king and queen punished flawed scientists, and I know that it's so scary. So another example of Indomitable is the competition between Thomas Edison and Nikola Tesla. So Nikola Tesla, I would say, is Indomitable compared to Thomas Edison. So their feud or their devil's advocate existed or happened when they compete about who would be the best or better when it comes to the world of electricity. I would say that Nikola Tesla is better than, you know, Thomas Edison, because Thomas Edison has heart when it comes to pursuing his interest or his enamor when it comes to exploration, or should I say getting to know more about electricity, because I would say that Thomas Edison was like heartless and cold because he used elephant in order for him to experiment. So he experimented elephant, but in contrast to that, Tesla didn't even experiment animals or pets just for him to perfect his discovery about electricity. So the competition happened when Nikola Tesla was looking for a job. Back then, the most famous when it comes to utilization or use of electricity using machines or using gadgets. Nikola Tesla tried to work for Thomas Edison. Nikola Tesla wasn't able to galvanize. It's like he had a control to touch electricity. Thomas Edison promised Nikola Tesla that if Nikola Tesla could perfect the DC or direct current, then Thomas Edison would give him penny. But unfortunately, it didn't happen because Thomas Edison was a big liar. When Nikola Tesla was able to perfect DC, which was introduced and insisted Thomas Edison to perfect, then he would get penny. But the penny that he promised was not the exact amount that Thomas Edison promised him to give as a reward, or let's say incentive, but it didn't happen. It was a lie. It was like a prank. So Thomas Edison was like prankster. What Nikola Tesla did was he tried to abstain from Thomas Edison because he was heartless, and he had no sympathy and empathy for his worker or for the person who was working for him, and I think that was Nikola Tesla. And then he worked with investors, I think, Yeah, but unfortunately, their projects didn't happen, didn't succeed because of the budget. So yeah, so his partnership and collaboration with the investor unfortunately failed. At the end of the day, unfortunately, Nikola Tesla didn't succeed his passion and enamor to, you know, to utilize or to make use of electricity with using, I think, AC generator. So it failed, and so they ended up broke because their project didn't succeed. But I would say that despite that Nikola Tesla died being broke, I would still believe that Nikola Tesla was indomitable, because I think to the memory of a lot of people, Nikola Tesla is the best because he was pursuing his interest and his enamor in electricity without hurting people or without hurting animals. Unlike Thomas Edison, he was using even criminal to test if electricity, or let's say if the gadget using electricity would work or not. I think the first invention, not actually the first, but yeah, one of his inventions back then was electric chair, and the first one who died in that electric chair was a criminal. So yeah, people were uploading him because he discovered something amazing, and it was like supercalifragilisticexpialidocious. Another example of Indomitable is Rihanna. Back in 2007, Rihanna slayed the game when it comes to music because Rihanna was so unique. Her music was really the go-to of a lot of people, and the reason why her song became like monster hit was because there were a lot of people who went crazy. It's really catchy and very attention grabbing, and so when she was recording it, a lot of people were emulating or copying the way she sings the song. And I'm also one of the victims because it's so, as I mentioned earlier, it's so catchy, and so I was so amazed how it sounds, and moreover, it's also enticing because the video was so unique. It was unique in a way that it's like an infusion of being sexy, seductive, provocative, edgy, bold, fierce, those kind of things. And so when I watched it, it was really different. I would say it's unique, and it's not similar to other music videos and other records that I heard back then. Her sound was so unique because her aura, it was different. Her aura was really captivating, and especially her music videos. Her music video played the most important role, I would say, because I like to watch it. It's like I was brainwashed and like manipulated to always watch it, and that's how powerful the song Umbrella was. It's just so enticing, she's so provocative and really, really attractive and bodacious. And so when I'm watching it, it's inevitable for me to see it like on mix show or mixed, exactly on TV, because back then internet was not yet the trend. We were just watching on TV, so it's like a music program there on TV, and I used to wait for that, for the top 10 or top 20. Basically, it's like the rerun of songs on a daily basis, and I believe that Rihanna's song was on the chart for like many many weeks. I forgot, but it's like I think it's lasted for more than a month. That's how Indomitable her music was back then. So she was so popular back then. Her song emerged. Her song was a hit, and it happened by storm. It's so powerful song. And back then, I was also changed my personality. Like I was became like bold, edgy. I became obsessed when it comes to fashion, and so yeah, that's how brainwashed I was. And so I was also crazy about new clothes, new shoes, new accessories. I've been manipulated. It was so inevitable for me not to follow the trend. But then, unfortunately, when Rihanna went, when people were like tired of her, unfortunately, she didn't record any music until now, 2022. I think that's also the reason why she's not putting out music anymore, because of course it's sometimes a competition. If the competition is tough and if the song is not slaying the game, I believe that you have to take hiatus in music. And so she actually focused on something that she can profit more, which is fashion and also makeup. But yeah, I think I actually miss her music so much, because actually I'm going crazy whenever I hear his new music, whenever I'm listening to her new music. And now 2022, she's not yet putting up any music, but it's okay, I'm used to it.